Getting started as an online teacher can be overwhelming. In today's video, I'll share some tips and tricks that I wish I'd known as a new online teacher to help make your first classes easy and stress-free. I'm Jamie from ESL Teacher 365, and I've been teaching abroad and online since 2010. I'd like to thank Cambly for sponsoring today's video and allowing me to share my knowledge with new online teachers like you. Cambly is an online teaching platform that's perfect for new online teachers. If you are a native English speaker with a computer and a strong internet connection, you can apply to tutor on Cambly. No degree or experience required. Now let's get into the tips. There is nothing worse as an online teacher than asking a student what they'd like to work on in class and having them answer, I don't know. My first tip is to always come to class prepared with a few conversation starters and activities. If it's your first time meeting a new student, you can play a game of 2 truths and a lie to get to know more about each other. Start by telling them 3 facts about yourself and then asking them which one they think is incorrect. Then have them do the same. For an easy conversation starter that can also help you identify what your student is struggling with, whether it be grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation, you can create a slideshow of interesting images to talk about. I like to create these slideshows on Canva, and then I can easily add the presentation link to the link section when teaching on Cambly, or screen share if teaching on Zoom or similar platforms. First, show the student an image and ask questions like, what can you see? Have you ever been to a place like this? Would you like to live here? Why or why not? If I see that the student is struggling, I will make my questions easier. And if I see that they're answering my questions with confidence, then I know to use more advanced vocabulary and grammar in my questions. When it comes to online teaching, technology is something that every teacher struggles with from time to time. My second tip is to test out all your tech before you start teaching. On Cambly, you'll want to familiarize yourself with your webcam, internet connection, your microphone, and the teaching library. Having a backup plan in case your camera, microphone, or internet connection fails is essential. If you want to use links or teaching materials during your online classes, make sure they are loaded and ready before the class starts. On Cambly, you can select lessons to add to your library. If a student wants to take one of these lessons, it will automatically pop up during your call with the student. If you are using Zoom or similar platforms to teach your classes, save a PDF or PowerPoint version of the slides that you want to share and use the screen share function to share them with your student. While it's understandable that tech issues happen from time to time, having a plan to help you quickly fix issues will help you feel more confident and relaxed when online teaching. Using pre-made lesson plans as a new teacher can be intimidating. Here are 2 tips to help you use these lessons. Number 1, you don't need to follow the slide word for word. If you notice that something on the slide sparks an interesting discussion, then don't be afraid to dive deeper into that topic. Likewise, if you notice that there is something on the slide that is irrelevant to your student, then skip it. Number 2, use tools to make the language on the slides more meaningful for your students. On Cambly, I like to use the pen tool to underline important words, help mark syllables when working on pronunciation, or circle words that my student mispronounced. If you are using a digital whiteboard on Zoom, LearnCube, or Classen, there will be different tools that you can use. When I first started online teaching, I took notes after every lesson I taught. My 4th tip for new online teachers is to write reflections after every class. I recommend this to all the teachers I mentor and coach because it really helps you improve your teaching by learning from your mistakes. At the end of each lesson or at the end of a day of lessons, take a few minutes to write down what went well with the lesson, what didn't go well with the lesson, and how you would change it next time that you teach it. As you become more experienced, you'll know right away how to adapt your lessons, but do be patient with yourself. Developing this skill does take time. I also recommend writing a follow-up message to each student or family, letting them know what they did well in the class and what to practice next time before your session. An engaged learner is one who feels comfortable in the classroom and valued by the teacher. My fifth tip for new online teachers is to focus on relationship building as part of your teaching. Whether you're teaching one-on-one classes or group classes, it's important to know what your students are interested in and give them opportunities to share their opinion. I also like to include my students' names and interests whenever I write example sentences. Giving your students choices of activities and topics can also help keep students interested and participating. On Cambly, you can meet new students by scheduling priority hours and then send them your teaching schedule if you would like them to become your regular students. My final tip isn't actually about what happens in the online classroom, it's what happens when you aren't teaching. When you're a new online teacher, it's easy to want to teach lots of lessons back to back, day after day. However, this is a mistake. It's important to start with a shorter schedule and slowly build to a longer one. You'll also want to build in lots of breaks to your day to stretch, go for a walk, eat a good meal, or just relax. Online teaching does provide a lot of freedom, but since you're most likely working from home, burnout can happen quickly. I hope you found today's video on tips for new online teachers helpful. If you'd like to apply to teach on Cambly, you can use my referral link in the description to get priority consideration of your application. If you'd like to learn about the Cambly application process, then you can watch this video next. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at ESLTeacher365, and please like and subscribe if you'd like to learn more about living a life of teaching, travel, and adventure. For all my online teaching videos, you can watch my online teaching playlist. Happy teaching!